Welcome to the review train, Welcome to the review train, Hey, I didn't see you guys there. So, yeah. Hi guys, what's up? 2-Bit Jesus here, and welcome to another 2-Bit review. We are continuing our journey through the Hunter the Reckoning franchise. We are taking a look at the sequel to Hunter the Reckoning, Hunter the Reckoning-Wayward on the PlayStation 2. Let's jump right in. Hunter the Reckoning-Wayward is the sequel to Hunter the Reckoning, a hack-and-slash developed by High Voltage Software and published by Vivendi Universal this time instead of Interplay, who had sold the rights to Hunter the Reckoning to Vivendi. It was released in the fall of 2003, a year after its predecessor. Wayward was originally going to be a port of the first game, but somewhere along the way, they decided to create an entirely new story while reusing a lot of the assets from Hunter the Reckoning, and improving on the gameplay from feedback they got from the Xbox and GameCube versions. With these tidbits done, let's once again take up the hunt in this review. One major downfall for Wayward's gameplay is going from the possibility of 4 players on the Xbox and GameCube to 2 players on the PS2. That being said, the controls were improved. They did not feel as janky, but the hit detection is a bit off in this title as well. You are also able to still get damaged when you are in the middle of an attack. Usually when you attack an enemy, they enter a stun state for a brief moment. This is not so for this title, just like its predecessor. All the same gameplay elements from Hunter the Reckoning make their way over to Wayward. The DualShock is an excellent controller for twin-stick style games. You have melee attacks, ranged attacks, and magic attacks. You can level up your character's stats and abilities. You do this by defeating enemies in the game. One change from the Hunter the Reckoning is the default gun on your character now has limited ammo as opposed to infinite from the previous game. This feature encourages the player to get up close and personal more often this time around. Like Hunter the Reckoning, you have various weapons you obtain throughout the game. Chainsaws, assault rifles, shotguns, etc. You know the drill by this point. You have returning playable characters, Father Cortez, the Judge, who is, again, your mage-like character, Deuce the Avenger, who is your tank, slow but powerful, Samantha the Defender is the most balanced character with speed and strength, Cassandra the Martyr is the fastest character with weak attacks. The 2 new characters are both Wayward's Joshua and Devin. Joshua feels to be on par with Samantha. He is a well-balanced character who is slightly faster and stronger than the Defender. Devin is slower but more accurate than Joshua. Magic once again provides buffs to your stats. Healing characters, freezing enemies, or direct attacks on enemies. Innocents are once again needed to be saved and give you an extra life. A unique feature to this game is a character you meet early on in the game. She can create more powerful weapons for you if you find the right parts hidden throughout the levels. Speaking of levels, they are designed pretty much the same as Hunter the Reckoning. You have big open areas and some cramped areas to fight the horrors. Wayward reuses some of Hunter the Reckoning's levels and puts its own unique spin to them. This is where you can really tell this game was originally going to be a port of its predecessor. A change with Wayward is a less linear way of approaching levels. You are given the choice of which order to play the levels and can revisit levels to find any items you missed in your first playthrough. You access levels in a hub area. Mission objectives vary just like the last game, getting from point A to point B, finding and rescuing certain innocents, protecting an NPC from enemies, escorting them throughout a level, finding unique items to progress the story, and of course the age-old boss fight. Speaking of boss fights, they are fewer than Hunter the Reckoning, but still memorable. You fight werewolves, possessed assembly lines, witches, a fellow hunter, and this demon witch possessed thing. Not exactly sure what it is, but it's pretty awesome. Wayward is a slightly better gameplay outing for the franchise, but still has some of the same flaws, and with this being High Voltage's second bite at the apple, and still having the hit detection issues, keeps this game in the same range as its predecessor. 2-bits.
I'd buy that for $1.
Out of 4. The sound quality from Hunter the Reckoning carries over. You have the solid sound effects. The music does its job, not standing out, but complementing the game's aesthetic. You have huge portions of the game with no background music at all, instead opting for creepy ambient noise, just like its predecessor. Gone is the lip sync issue that plagued Hunter the Reckoning. Voice acting once again is hit and miss. You get great line deliveries and some flat ones. Sound is an improvement over its predecessor. 2-bits.
I'd buy that for $1.
Out of 4.
Then I have to use the knife. Have you ever tried to get that rot smell off a knife?
Wayward, at first glance, is not a downgrade from the Xbox version of Hunter the Reckoning. Typically, when you look at a PS2 port compared to an original Xbox port, they perform and look worse than the Xbox version. The PS2 version has some tricks up its sleeve to manage the PS2's hardware shortcomings. Several levels use a fog effect which adds to the creepy aesthetic of the game while also helping lower the draw distance. One level, the subway, is even pitch black with only the hunter's flashlight illuminating the way just a few spaces in front of the player. There seems to be less enemies on the screen than the original Xbox version. Now, I did not do a head count, but the hordes felt smaller and easier to get through than the original Xbox version. Wayward looks less colorful, and the sprites and environments look a bit more janky on the edges than the original Hunter the Reckoning on the Xbox. The more grayish color adds to the game's look in my opinion, so it isn't really a negative. All in all, it is impressive they got most of the Big Brother Xbox version into this game with few compromises. Wayward returns us to Ashcroft and takes place 2 years after the first game. It appears that the darkness has once again come to the town, and two wayward hunters, Joshua and Devin Lucian, are fighting this evil. Joshua sends an email to our heroes from the first game before he and Devin take off on their mission. Our heroes arrive to an empty base and must pick up the trail of their wayward hunters. Haha! See what I did there? It turns out a cult led by a witch has decided to set up shop in the old Ashcroft prison. The cult captured both of our wayward heroes. With the help of hunter frenemy Carpenter, Joshua escapes. He is then later saved from a werewolf by our heroes. He then joins the team to find Devin and defeat the cult. They eventually find the witch and Devin. The witch escapes, and the team saves Devin, who is psychologically twisted from his imprisonment. He believes he must kill all the innocents to prevent the witch from enacting her plan to perform a ritual that requires the sacrifice of an innocent to gain ultimate power. After the team takes down Devin, it is revealed that the witch intended to use Devin as her sacrifice. A large tower then materializes and the town starts to be merged with the Shadowland. The witch is then used as an anchor for Nephrak, an ancient spirit from the Shadowlands. So, ironically, she was played too, just as she played Devin and the Hunters. Carpenter once again helps out as he sees Ashcroft as his town and opposes this new evil from the Shadowland. Our heroes emerge victorious over this new evil, and hint at a sequel with Joshua mentioning Devin's father owning a major corporation and that he feared something nefarious was going on there. The team offers to help him and Joshua accepts, ending this story and busting the door wide open for a third entry. Wayward has some graphical shortcomings, but has an overall better story, leaving me wanting more. Presentation gets 2-bits.
I'd buy that for $1.
Out of 4.
Burning it down. What?
Where are you off to now?
Gonna follow up a lead on some wolves out east. Devin's father is a higher up at Drake International downtown. He said he had a feeling that there was something at work there, but he never checked it out of fear. I don't have that fear. And anything associated with Devin is now suspect.
Perhaps you could use some backup.
Perhaps.
Wayward is a interesting title. I really like it for its, I guess its history and the fact that they were able to take an Xbox game, port it over to the PS2, and figure out ways to make the game work for that hardware. And in the process, they made a completely new game out of it, a new story too. And I find that fascinating. And while yes, you don't have the 4-player action that was in the Xbox version, you still have some multiplayer action in the game. My final verdict for Hunter the Reckoning-Wayward on the PlayStation 2 is a recommended look for the casual and a recommended buy for the hardcore collector of the PlayStation 2. And for those of you who are looking to get this title, you can find it online for around $6 to $8 depending on its condition. And frankly, this is the only way you can play this game because unlike the previous title, this one was only on the PS2 and isn't backwards compatible as far as I know, unless you have like a big fat original launch PS3. So this is the only platform you can enjoy this game on. And that is it for Hunter the Reckoning-Wayward. Please let me know in the comment section below what you guys think of this game. And please tune in for the next review where we will be taking a look at the final entry in the Hunter the Reckoning franchise, Hunter the Reckoning Redeemer. I hope you guys join us for that review. And as always, you can let me know in the comment section below what games you would like for me to review. It's a very busy year, but I'll try to get to the suggestions as fast as possible. And with that, that's all I got for you guys today. As always, stay safe and play on.